But sometimes you need to get your lip back. And you're tired of being the bigger person.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay to be petty sometimes.
I'm tired of always being the bigger person.
Well, that's being open. That's a part allowing to be open.
Baby, I will be petty LaBelle sometimes.
And I'm tired.
I'm tired. She tired, y'all. She tired.
Petty Pendergrass.
Petty.
That.
Not petty.
Petty white.
Bitch, the clip is full and I'm about to empty that bitch.
Like that.
That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. How you feel? That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. Black excellence at its finest. How that skin glows, she's a true diamond. With the world at her back, she's still smiling. Never let that crown till she stays thriving. That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. Keep it real. That's it, that's all. That's it, that's all. Is that really it though?
What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to That's It, That's All, where we share the unique and vibrant lives through testimony, laughter, and just plain old friendship. My name is Casey Carnage, and today we have on my left Breona, Dewitt.
Hello, how y'all doing?
And then we have Nakieyta.
Whistle.
What's up? So today, before we get into it, I wanted to talk about a lot of stuff happened with us this week through our friendships, right? And today, usually we have like one of those topics where I'm here talking and asking questions, but we just need to discuss it because I know here and y'all back home are going through the same kind of things. So what I want to talk about today is triggers and knowing if you found the right mate or a good mate and how to handle that. So before we get into it, I'll give you guys some backstory about what's going on. So the first part of this is that we had a friend this week who we felt like were continuously overstepping boundaries, and it triggered a lot of us based on the things that happen in our past lives, our past relationships, our past friendships. So I want to talk about that. Like, what allows us to give people those many chances when they're clearly continuously doing the same shit, dumb shit over and over again?
I honestly think it's just human nature to try to give people the benefit of the doubt. You want to see the best in everybody, and sometimes people are just shitty, and you just have to accept that and move on. It's like you can't always change people when you want them changed. You always want to see the best, their potential, and sometimes people are not going to always meet said potential. You gotta let it go.
Yeah, it kind of sucks.
And it does hurt. Of course, it's gonna hurt either way. It's gonna hurt if you stay in the situation. It's gonna hurt if you leave. But what's gonna make you better at the end of it? Leaving. So,
well, I know you talked about like specifically, Bri, that you were super triggered by it.
I was.
Like, let's talk about that. Like, what triggered you so much about what was going on?
Because I had a past relationship where I was in an abusive relationship, physically, mentally, emotionally, and every time I would address something that I had an issue with in that relationship, I was gaslighted. I was made to seem like I was crazy, that it was all in my head, that I'm tripping, when you're legitimately doing this directly to me and seeing the aftermath of it. And so when we addressed the friend in question, and for him to respond the way he did was crazy to me. It's like, bro, you did this. Like, why are you acting like you're the victim? And I'm a nice guy, and you're not gonna treat me like this? No, you're a pervert and predator with manners.
Nikki got the text. So, Nikki, what did you feel when you like got that feedback back?
I cackled. It was hilarious because it was gaslit all up and through.
Textbook.
All up and through. Like, instead of just acknowledging what you're doing and it's coming back at you, you feel a way about it because you clearly can see you're this kind of person. And at this age, nah. It's just certain things where common sense ain't so common. I can't. I can't.
Well, also, too, you were talking about before that, like, you had gave him a set of boundaries that he was not adhering to, and you brought that up. I mean, I talked to Nikki about it because Nikki knew this person first. You know what I mean? Like, this is somebody that was a close person to her in the beginning, and kind of like leaked into the crew, and it's all was good and well. Yeah. Like, what I wanted to know is, like, not that you take responsibility for that, Nikki, but did you feel any type of way, like, hey, this is somebody that I brought around? Like, did you feel any like
His dumb ass ain't got nothing to do with me.
Okay. Okay.
No.
I mean, I guess for me, like, it was just more so like, you know, when you providing safety and parameters around your friends and you do bring in other people, like, it's one of those things where, like, it's almost embarrassing. Like, not saying that you feel no type of way, because his actions definitely does not reflect your actions. But it's also like, you know, like, it's like, damn,
I
nigga,
trusted
like,
you.
you know, I trusted you.
Yeah.
I trust you, my friends. I'm also trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, and so is everybody else around you.
I mean, everybody has their ways. So I also try to give grace with that, because the pros overweigh the cons, but the cons just started to get too heavy, and you clearly just showed that you were going to do whatever you wanted to do anyway. That's what made me go, oh, so you're aware in a way, and you're still choosing to consciously do what you're doing regardless of what I said. Bet. That was the straw for me. Beyond you literally trying to turn it around like we're crazy and people don't have the right to feel what they felt, or we're constantly talking to you about the same thing. We have many other men that we've been around, and we're not talking to them about this but you. It's just you.
All the time.
It's not any other, all the time.
All the time.
Like, I'm sure men have thoughts in their head around our friend group as women. We all do about things, but they're not making people feel uncomfortable or feeling like they need to talk to every person in the group. While also it leads to me questioning, can men really be friends with women they're attracted to?
Yeah.
Or are you really cool with them? If you had an opportunity, are you going to take it? Or are you going to really, if she's in a weak moment where, let's say she's drunk or she's horny or she wants them, you're going to be like, nah, chill. Like, I don't think this is what you really want. No, I feel like men are, even if they're not being like aggressively weird or perverted, I feel like men are secretly waiting for their chance. Like, she gonna slip up one day and she gonna give me some. I'm gonna stick around. I'm patient. Well, we can still be cool in the meantime. Yeah. Or do you really respect those boundaries of, nah, this is my friend, I'm not even gonna cross that, because it could ruin a friendship. It can change things.
Right.
I don't know if men can actually really be friends with women that they're attracted to, like seriously attracted to.
Now, I guess my question on top of that would be, like, for personally and generally, you can answer this anyway, but like, how are those triggers bleeding into like your next relationships or your next friendships? Because also too, like, we also had a friendship issue a couple days ago that triggered me, and it was more so like, I don't like the issue at hand was like someone's asking you, checking up on you, like figuring out what's going on. And maybe you may not feel like we checked up on you enough, but for us to ask about it, and you keep saying okay and then turn it back around and say we're judging you, or, you haven't checked on me, you haven't done enough, but you can't even give me an answer of what you want us to do and how we can help you. So for me, that was a trigger for me, and I went off. Like, y'all saw, like, I went off in that text, because my whole thing is this. I was like, we have adult relationships, and there's nothing that I don't think that we would not do for each other if we needed to be there for you. But at the same time, you have to hold a responsibility to say, hey, I need your help, or you aren't doing this. Don't throw mud in my face because you're going through something and you're projecting what's going on over there to over here, because that's not that and this ain't this.
Well, we also could be possibly dealing with our own battles that we don't talk about.
Yes.
So just because we're not outwardly saying we have an issue, we could emotionally be unavailable too, where we're trying to give you some, but we're also, our cups are empty ourselves. While even though we haven't said anything, you also have not checked in to say if we're okay, because you're not okay, and we're accepting grace of that because you're not okay. So we know you can't see if we're okay, and sometimes we're not okay, even though we don't say we're not okay or ask for help. But I'm definitely not gonna make it on you because I didn't say something. Yeah. If I kept it to myself, or I'm struggling alone, I choose to struggle alone. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
I definitely had that issue this week. Is I felt like pouring. A lot of my friends this week had problems, and I was.
You've definitely been pouring into cups all week. Yeah,
you've been pouring into cups.
Being that person all week, and I was drained. I was like, bro, I have nothing left to give, and I had to say, like, I don't have the bandwidth for this today. I'm sorry, and I had to tell my other friends that I was like, I love you. I'll be here. I just need a couple days because I've been every day with this, and like you were saying before, like. I think the one problem that women have is that we expect people to read our minds sometimes and have to check that. Like, look, they don't know, especially when dealing with men.
Right. Oh, we gonna get there.
They're not my, yes, there could be signs everywhere, but like you had to tell men directly and very matter of factly, because they gonna miss the sign every time. And so with
They
women,
still miss the sign even when you tell them.
yeah,
They should. They consciously
at least
choose
you can,
to.
At least you
tell
can say,
them-
"I told you," instead of like, "You should have just known."
Right.
That's
And
you
that's the
shouldn't do that.
difference.
And
That's
the same thing
difference.
with our friend. Like, baby, we can't. You need to tell us what you need. Like, we want to be there, and we know you're going through something. But every time we try to talk to you about solutions, it's never. You don't have no answers.
And
so,
that's the thing too about the solutions. Like, okay, be mad one day.
Yeah.
Be mad the second
Maybe
day.
two,
We can't stay in this
Maybe
corner
two.
for too long.
You know what I'm saying? But
After
we
a while,
can't-
I'm gonna get up, pat your back, wipe your tears, eye boots. So strap your boots up. What we gonna do?
What we doing?
I can't
I
sit here
can't
with you
be-
too long.
But
we gotta
every
do something.
conversation is a thing. Every
Yeah, we gotta
conversation
do
is a
something.
thing, and it's like, okay, like y'all said, like it's more so like, when are we gonna find the solutions? Like, we gotta put your big girl panties on and say, hey, I want this. What, and like any goal in life,
Correct.
you know,
And that is
you-
hard sometimes.
it
It's
is
hard to be strong, especially when you
It's
just have
very
nothing
hard.
left in
It's
you
easier
and you
said than
just
done.
feel like fuck it.
It's easier said than done, but when you're dealing with other people, you also have, like, in your hurt, you also have to be aware how you're affecting the people around you. And if every time you're around, it feels like your energy is low, or you're complaining about the same thing that we talked to 3 weeks ago,
And you
it's
haven't done
still- and
anything.
you haven't
Nothing's
done anything,
changed.
or or like, you know, like I've mentioned to you before, if you don't want to do anything, say you
that.
don't want to do nothing. Like, you can say that too. Like, if you're saying, hey, I'm here right
I'm just
now,
venting.
I just need y'all to be here. There's nothing that I need. I'm gonna have to keep talking about this a couple times. Yes, this is wrong. I know it's wrong, and we're just gonna live in that for a while. That's okay too. But say that. Don't come back with a pity party every 2 seconds, or because what also happens that I noticed too, especially in big friend groups where you can talk about, and somebody that you're talking to right now is clearly over it, so you're gonna go now to the next person and pull them to the side and talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to that person is over it, and it was like, so now the whole group
and
is
then
now talking
and
about
then
you.
you'll feel like you're by yourself.
You feel like
Yeah.
you're all yourself, because guess what? We are gonna say, like, damn, this person's gonna still keep talking about this. Like, we're talking about it, that you're still talking about it. Know that.
Yeah.
But that's the crazy part about it. It's just kind of like, people have to be a little bit more open about how they're feeling, especially dealing with their triggers. Like for instance, so the guy that I'm dating right now, he had to get me together. Yesterday was just not a good day for us, and I got 2 separate stories on the same day. He going to the triggers, right? It triggered him, but it also, I realized that my reaction to it was from a past trigger. So he had asked me, he's getting ready to leave, and he had asked me, hey, what kind of things do you like? And he was like, more so like, and in my head it switched over to like, I don't want to be materialistic. I don't want you here thinking you need to get me bags and shoes. So I spilled off inadvertently all the things I didn't like. I never told him what I liked. And he mentioned it and was just kind of like, he was like, you do know that you still haven't told me what you like. It was like, and for you to just tell me all the things you don't like, is just kind of like, why would somebody, you know, like that it gave off very negative energy when somebody's trying to give it to you. And I didn't even realize that what I was doing. So he mentioned something about that. And then I was like, he had texted me in the day, and he was just like, what are you doing today? And I was like, well, I want to go get my nails done. I'm going to go get my car washed or whatever. So maybe like an hour went by. He was like, check your Cash App. And so
My favorite song.
My favorite song. He said, check your Cash App. And my response to him was, you did not have to do that, but thank you. And in my mind, and I'm gonna break it down because I had to sit on this for a while. In my mind, it was more so, I didn't ask you to do this, but
He knows
thank
that.
you. And that's what he said. So he came back and called me and barked on me.
I would have too.
He called me and was like, this is why good men can't do good things for women. He's like, you guys are so trained to
be
do everything
independent,
and
yeah.
give everything. When somebody tries to give you something back, you shun it. Or he was like, you didn't even make me feel good about doing something good for you. And not saying that I needed you to make me feel good, but like, think about that. Like, why is it that like when somebody tries to do something good for somebody, you get that reaction and just saying thank you because you deserve it. Like, you deserve for somebody to take care of you, but you are operating as if you don't need that. You know what I'm saying? So I had to like, he got me together. I was like, you know what?
I like him because already.
I was just like,
you need that.
I was like, I liked it, and I realized that like the trigger from that moment is me not being used to that and me doing everything.
always do
I
everything.
do everything.
But also when we say what we want and then we get it, I feel like for me, if I'm getting it, I wouldn't have rejected it like, oh my gosh, why am I getting this? Like imposter syndrome. Do you not feel like you deserved it? Because I'm like, as we speak and we say what we want, when we receive it, why are we pushing it away?
Human nature.
Like,
And that's
I would have saw that. Like, I
thinking you
deserve
don't
that.
deserve
Period.
it.
I needed that. Well, I'm about to get
because I honestly I feel like, at least for me, what the trigger behind, I know the trigger wasn't me saying that triggered him, but I
Right.
know that my reaction to what he did was from a different trigger, because I do know that, like, although we talk about it all the time, like, I want a man that do this, I want a man that does this, and whatever, but we are also operating in a reality where men aren't doing that for us. So we've built up this kind of wall of, I can get it myself. I really don't need you to buy because I already got it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if I got to get a double of it, I can do it. And not even knowingly knowing that what we're doing is pushing this person to not want to do anything for us because they don't feel like you're going to appreciate it. They don't feel like you're needed. Because, like, just like women, you know, want to feel loved, like men want to feel needed. They want that feeling. But like when you are a person who has been getting hit over the head with the same thing, you don't even know. Although in my mind, I was saying, oh, babe, like, you didn't have to do that, but thank you. That wasn't the reaction that he was looking for. You know what I'm saying? It was more of like, you do deserve good things to happen to you. So you could have just said, like, what's the problem of, like, what happened that you can't just say, oh, thanks, babe. Mm-hmm. Or thank you for doing that. Like, what is
Maybe
what?
I start saying thank you now. I'd be like,
Right. And yes. And I was like, when he said that to me, I was like, you know what? You're right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're right. I shouldn't feel like I have to give a this but, you know what I mean? Because that's usually what we do. We're like, yeah, but, you know what I'm saying, in those situations. So I don't know, like, it got me together and made me realize that, like, although, you know, good things, I do deserve good things. I do deserve someone, whether whoever that person will be now or later, that I should not feel like I need to push away good things. Like, I should know that I'm worth that. If somebody want to buy me a bag, I can just say thank you and nothing else. I don't have to give a script of why you didn't have to do this, like, beforehand, you know? So, like, that was one of my triggers that happened.
You learned a lesson.
I mean, it was
early.
I'm sure people know they ain't got to give you money because trust me, we all want our money. We clutching it to our heart. But so that's why I'm like, definitely, if they did, they know they wanted to. They chose to. They thought about it. They made a decision. They pushed send. They wanted to do that.
Right. Yeah. So I guess my next question would be, like, what signs are you looking for, and what signs do you think you glaze over when you're looking for a good mate?
At this point, I just want somebody to reciprocate the energy that I put into it. That's one of the first signs. Like, is this person pouring back into me what I'm pouring into them? Are they just excited to see me as I am them? And am I at minimum at this point? And then also, it shouldn't be hard. You know, like, of course, couples argue, people argue, they get bigger or whatever, but, like, it shouldn't be hard. It just should just flow. And if it's not, it's probably being forced. And I'm like, I've learned to stop forcing relationships that don't work. And so me doing that, I've finally started to get into a flow of meeting people who align with how I think, how I move, how I treat. And so that's been working for me, and yeah, I'm see where it goes.
So you talked about the signs that you look for. What signs do you think that you know for a fact you glazed over? Like, it was an
I ain't gonna lie, sometimes good dick be making me skip some red flags, and that's how I ended up, like, in that abusive situation. I skipped 1,000 red flags before he even got to the abusive part. I should have left long before it got to that point, and but I was also very young then. But even now, sometimes I might skip over 1 or 2 flags because I'm like, oh, well, the sex is good or this is good. But I'm like, you know what? I can find good sex. Like, that ain't that hard. So it's like I choose other things now before I choose that, because in the long run, it's like I want good relationships, and I feel like every time I've led with other things versus sex, I've always come out better on the other side. So
I feel that. What about you, Nick?
Right now, primarily communication and listening. That's like a thing. Not just even just relationships, friends. I feel like there's always a miscommunication with people because we're not saying things. We do let a lot of shit roll off our back, which also I literally just said to another friend, starting today, and it happened at your house. So if I have a problem, I'm going to say something. It's not really what you say, it's how you say it. If I need to wait because I'm a little irritated, I will wait before I say something. But I can't keep letting shit slide that I know doesn't make me feel comfortable, or it didn't make me feel okay, or I felt like that wasn't cool. So for me, it's communication.
Okay, and so what were some signs that you glazed over in a past situation or a past friendship? It don't even gotta be
Communication. Literally just not talking, not communicating, not saying how we feel, not asking questions, not asking enough questions, not seeing where people are.
So yours is a dual situation.
Mine is
it's like I look for communication.
Mine is
and I glazed
communication.
over communication.
Mine is communication.
I think that is a
Fuck.
good one for Nikki. Cause
Yes,
that's
a
a good thing.
That's a good one.
It's
That's
for me.
a good one.
For me, it's primarily communication.
Well, also too, like it's like I don't know,
Even
like
for her, at one point she didn't like to talk.
Because I don't communicate. Sometimes I don't ask questions or enough questions at all. Because I'm learning. I need to say something if I'm not okay. If I am okay. And then people can't perceive how I'm feeling, or they're assuming something from me instead of just asking, but maybe they're afraid to ask me or don't know how I'm, you know what I mean? And vice versa. It's just, for me, it's communication heavily.
No, I feel you on that because as somebody who communicates and sometimes overly communicates.
Yes.
Because I think this is what I can say. I can say my triggering. Okay, so it's a dual thing. Okay, let me get my thoughts together on this. So I feel like because I am an over communicator, what triggers me is people that don't know how to communicate. So I'll give you that. But also for me is that like I can't do nothing without all the facts. And what burns me up is people that argue on pieces of what happened. You know what I mean? Like I think I told Nikki all the time. I said one of the biggest things is that people be ready to argue, but you ain't even tell the whole story. You know what I mean? That's what be burning me up. So like my triggering, and sometimes it's like I don't get mad easy. I'm not a person that gets mad very easily. So when I speak, you piss me off. Like if I have to speak in that tone, you already know. And I'm coming with the scroll of no, this happened, ABC, because I don't forget nothing. Nothing passes me. And and that's the thing where I feel like effective communication, like you were talking about, comes in, is because people speak to speak and people don't speak to listen. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then it's also too like they want to say, oh, let me speak and give me a whole hour of things. And I was like, no, you have to interject. Like, tell me what you're talking about right now and let me rebuttal on that. Tell me what you're talking about and let me rebuttal on that. Because like, if I waited the whole thing, I'm going to forget what I had to say. Yeah. And that's going to make me mad too.
And then they just start harping on things that don't matter. And then I forget what I was going to say. And then you get
defensive because you boiling up inside. And the next thing you know, you explode. But I just feel like when it comes down to like signs or whatever, like Nikki said, like she's like starting from today, I feel like for me, my sign is that like because I'm such a caretaker, like, and I don't get mad easily, I do let a lot of shit slide in a way that y'all may not think so. You know what I mean? Like, because you're like, okay, you don't be doing this, you're like, whatever. But it's more so like I am going to see the best in people. I am going to be like, all right, let me get both sides of the situation. I am going to try to at least hear everybody out and then, dictate, like, and then pull out, because you do need you need both sides to really get a better understanding of what actually happened. Because, it's like, your side, and the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's also like weird because it's like an accident can happen and three people can see the same accident and you'll have a different story for each three. And I'm like, how?
Because somebody looking at the bird, somebody looking at the person in the car.
And I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about? Like,
that didn't happen. So you have
different angles.
You know what I mean?
These pictures all look different.
They all look different. They all look different. Okay, so
but you didn't answer the question, really.
I did.
What things that you glazed over when you look for a relationship and things that you.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, so things I look for, I agree with Nikki, communication. I look for safety. And when I mean safety, this more so like, can I rely on you? Like for real. Not like on some scale, like when the shit hit the fan and we gotta buckle up our straps, because I already know what I'm gonna do. Like if my back against a wall, I'm a lion, I know that I'm gonna find every way to figure out how to pull myself up out the fire. If I look at my partner, which I've had not happen, where I'm looking at you like, the fuck? Like, what you gonna do? Like, how are we doing this together? So I look for that. Things I've glazed over is basically not having someone see my actual worth and just wanting to be in a relationship. Mm-hmm. Like that makes you glaze over a lot of stuff too. Just wanting to have a person so bad that them not doing this every day, knowing damn well it's bothering the fuck out of you.
It's one of my requirements.
But because I want to have somebody so bad, I'm gonna just be like, it's not that big deal.
We all
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And so like it's like stuff like that. So yes, it's a general scope. It's nothing specific, but I know that like just having and wanting that, because I know me. I live in a fair. Like I didn't come from a 2-parent home. But I also had an example of what a real partnership looks like. So I've always earned for that. Like y'all talk about, like I want a family. Like I want to be married. I want to have a family. I want that Black family. You know what I'm saying? Like so like with that want and need in my brain, that has been a story that has been played in my head over and over and over. I would, and I say would because as of late I have not, and I've been proud of myself about that. I would like glaze over things, and like in the retrospect of things to getting what I want, is that big of a deal? And it always ends up being that big of a deal as to why you're not together. You know what I'm saying? It always ends up being. So those would be what I would say about the things I look for and what I would glaze over. But let's move on to the next question.
Okay.
Okay, so this one's always a big thing for me. Realizing that you have to change and compromise to who you want to be and what you want to become. That has always been an issue for me, because when you, especially I guess as women that are used to doing so much stuff for yourself, like you may not have your parents to rely on, you may not have a partner to rely on, you get stuck in your ways. Like that is a real thing. So when someone comes along, it's kind of hard to adjust. It's like, I don't know. Is it just me? Like,
no, it's not. I definitely had to do some self-reflecting over these last couple of years of me. I used to be quick to anger, trying to work on that. And I know a lot of it had to do with like me not healing from certain things, but doing the work and having some accountability for your actions. That's a hard one, especially for us, to take accountability. And men don't say it all the time, but I'm like, okay, y'all got that one. I'm gonna give y'all that one.
Definitely I give them that
I'm gonna give you that one. But that's it. I'm gonna give you that. We do have a hard time taking accountability, which I've started to do.
Because I'm always right. The fuck?
I started doing that.
No
now.
accountability to the left.
I started doing that. Like, okay, Bri, you were wrong in this situation.
No, I was.
You definitely could have done this better. You
I
could
did
have
it just
done
right.
this, whatever. So, like, I've definitely learned from past relationships. Like, okay, Bri, you're not always right about everything.
I'm always right.
Especially with debates. Like, my number one thing was me not being able to take differences of opinion. If you didn't agree with me. I was ready.
We're talking about it.
I'm gonna debate you. Listen, I'm telling you, I've done so much self-reflecting. I promise you, I have been working on it. I will debate you down, honey. Like by the end of this, I'm gonna make you agree with me. And I was like, Breona, you can't do that. Everybody has to agree with you. Like you're not always right. Like there's more than one way to skin a cat. I know I learned that from my mom. I got that from my mama. I know for a fact. So I had to change on that, and I hope y'all have noticed.
Yes, we have, friend.
You're doing good. The self-work is working.
That I've been doing on myself.
The self is selfing.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I had to realize that and stop letting people get me to a place that is like, it ain't that serious.
I was looking at you sometimes like, how you even letting them get to you like that?
Right, right.
Well,
and I had to realize
not paying
it wasn't even
bill for you, and you letting them.
I realized that I realized it wasn't even necessarily them. It was me.
Yeah.
It was me, and it wasn't even them really. It was just me. That dealing with shit that I haven't dealt with, and I had to deal with it. So,
like projecting, we sometimes we project.
Yeah. So yeah.
How about you, Nikki? How do you have you realized that there were certain things about, and it's not even like this question really has nothing to do with like relationship friendship. This is more so like you said, like the inner work, like realizing that like to get better, you got to do better,
right?
And sometimes it's a hard.
Nope. I'm right all the time. I do everything right. I'm perfect.
I'm just joking. I've noticed a change in Nikki.
Like again, again, it goes back to communication. Communication for me is literally the title of my life. It's sometimes it's just about if you need help, say you need help. I'm the type where I'll struggle by myself. I won't. If I have a problem, I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell my friends. Cause y'all right. The way we be kikiing about each other, y'all about to kiki about me at a neho in my shoes. I'm gonna kiki about y'all. No, you're not.
We still do it anyway.
No, you don't.
So,
no, you don't.
Gonna talk about
I'm gonna kiki about y'all, but y'all gonna kiki about me.
Okay, the kiki is still there, depending on what has been said. No,
I'm just the type to. If you need something, if you want something, if something's a problem, if something's good, I just won't I just don't say nothing. I'm just chilling. So I feel like,
think
again,
better
for me,
with that, though.
it's communication.
No, you
talking,
definitely
saying,
and showing
what's up, what's
emotion,
not.
this emotional.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Oh.
That is my communication, and definitely I'm very.
Oh yes, Nikki, 100%. Like I remember we was at my house. It was the last, not this past family dinner, but the last one. And I said to Nikki, I said the most beautiful thing about you is when you soft, like when you're vulnerable. Like that is the part that I like the most. Like, yeah, Nikki, clack 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 clack, Nikki, it's cool, she cool, but it's like one of those things where it's like I can actually see you when you in that light, because I think that's what. And I think we were on the phone one day.
That's where you naturally want to
Right.
settle.
I think me and
as a
Nikki was on the
woman.
phone. I think our last conversation we was talking about how when we were talking about relationships and what guys don't know they take from you. Was that what you was having a conversation? It's like how they don't realize that like you may be doing some dirtball shit, but you're not realizing that you're literally hardening us, because what we do naturally is we want to be soft. We want to take care of you, but you don't even know what you're taking away from us. And I think you mentioned something about like you were soft at one point. Like you were very soft.
Softer.
Like softer, but you were
Yeah.
soft at one point, and you was like, I know that who I was. You was like, I want that back. Like I want to have that back, but because of X, Y, and Z.
And it comes down to security.
Right.
Making me feel secure.
And
Yeah, a lot of us are jaded. People don't make it because everybody's just trying to protect themselves. It's like we're, but it's also from what? We're just assuming it's a war and people are, in which they are. It's like we all want to be loved, but we don't give love. We all want to be cared about, but it's almost like we're afraid to, because it's
a battlefield.
We're always
out
showed
there.
like why we shouldn't have in the first place.
But I think
Like-
it all. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like it all comes down to if everybody works on themselves, then we can all be better. Because what people do is they are hurt or affected by whatever traumas that they have, and then they surround their identity around that trauma.
Oh, absolutely.
And then they don't know, they're scared to heal because they don't know who they're going to be without said trauma.
I guess trauma should not be our
That's
trauma
identity.
bonding
not
is real,
that's
too.
not healthy. And I'm like, when I was in that abusive relationship, I'm like, I when I first got out of it, I talked about it all the time because I just felt like I needed to talk about it. I was like, Breona, but that doesn't define you, and you don't need to let it define you. And I only bring it up now if the conversation is relevant to it. But he is no longer a forethought in my mind, and he was for a long time. And I let it affect people that I was dating, my friendships, and all of that. I closed everybody out, and it was like, no, you good. Like, you that bitch without this trauma. Like, you don't need this to be your part of your identity. It's not a part of your identity. So I moved it to the back, but I wish a lot of people would start trying to heal that trauma instead of
because
attaching
they get
to
over it,
so
but they don't
much.
get through it. And it's like, you
Yeah.
can't get over it. You have to get through
That's
it.
a
Everything
word.
you feel,
Yeah.
you need to feel all of that,
Feel
cry,
it,
do
feel it,
that,
yeah.
do the getting work. Don't just get over it.
Like, you gotta work.
You gotta
through
get
it.
through
Definitely
it.
gotta work through
Yes.
it, because then you can
It'll
find
come
out.
up. It's gonna come
always
up later.
You can't push.
Sweep it under the rug. Baby, that dust's gonna rise. Okay,
It's gonna rise hard. It's gonna rise hard. I guess for me, it's just like I know I have. I can't even pretend I know that I have created a life and a narrative that protects me and what I feel. Like, I'm also like, I'll show emotion, but like not really, if that makes sense. Like, I'll definitely tell y'all I'm feeling this way or whatever, but like I was talking to my uncle one time, and it was just like, I also feel like I'm very numb to things, like things that should hurt me, like things that I should cry about, and I know that like there's somewhere in a pocket somewhere where I am sad, but I just won't.
Something's gonna bring it up at
Something's
some-
gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
But how I handle that is that I work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm working. If I'm working and I'm moving, I'm not thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I continue. I know that's not as healthy either. And then also too, like, I had to realize that like, even in a relationship sense, I think that like I've had very good men in my life. Like yes, we've got our assholes, but if I had to really think about it,
Same.
I've had some really good men in my life, and I do know that the reason why I deal with it, because I had to think about it from the beginning. Like, I honestly cannot say that I know what healthy love looks like, or especially by a man. You know what I mean? Like, my female, like, I have no problem with my females. Like, I'm going to love on y'all. But it starts with my dad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my dad's in and out. I don't know what it's like to be fully protected by a man. You know what I'm saying? And then I have my uncles who are great. Like, I would say that's the closest thing. My Uncle Fletcher and my Uncle Ty, like, them two, I know they got me. But they're not, I don't come from them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if how can I trust that this man that's going to come into my life is going to hold me when in the back of my mind, like you said, maybe I haven't worked through it. Maybe I got over it, that like the man that had me, I don't feel protected by him. You know what I'm saying? So like you go through life feeling like maybe you're not worthy. Like if like when you said like people make fun of like, you know, people got daddy issues, like people laugh that out, but that's a serious thing. Like it's almost like even in people have mommy issues. Like there are mothers out there. I can't even put it on all the dads. There are mothers out there that have these children and don't want to have nothing to do with them, or don't want to like care,
jealous of their own
child, or just like, you know, they throw them away. Like people that is a psychological thing that like will always, even if you get better, no matter how much therapy you go through, that's always going to stick with you because you came from that person. So if the person you came from doesn't want to deal with you or give you that kind of love, like how do you ever really trust that this stranger off the street don't have no, you know, motive, like don't have no what's the word for it? Don't have like an ulterior motive.
That's
to
the only way I
want you.
know it.
Right.
They've had me more than family. Is that what it's called? Family.
He said family.
Yeah.
Right.
Family.
And so, and yeah, so like it's definitely like, you know, dealing with relationships, like they go hand in hand, and that's why I want to talk about that today. Like it's because like we do all seek to find that mate, that person that we know that's gonna have us, but it's also like we have to start identifying the things that do trigger us. And like Nikki, like we brought up a lot today about the communication. Like we have to be an adult and we have to have those hard conversations.
Yeah, because everything is primarily misunderstandings. Even the beef between the other friend is literally misunderstandings. Because you didn't say this, you didn't say this. But also, do you give people space to be open to talk to you?
Yeah, that matters.
They'll be able to say things that are, that's the thing too.
Feel comfortable coming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, are you a comfortable person where people can talk to you?
Yeah.
Or are you going to respond to defend instead of comprehend? Or you just refuse to ever be accountable? Like, you can point out everything about everybody else, but if it's you, it's just you just can't.
Oh my God!
I'm
Oh my
just
God! The
like,
victim.
no, sometimes it's
don't
you.
play the victim. Stop playing the victim, y'all. Because
Like,
here's the thing
sometimes
about
it's you.
right. Because here's the thing about like being the victim. It's just like if that's your identity, that's what you want to live. There's other people. I'm the victim today. You're not always the victim today. You know what I mean? Like you have to leave space for people to be able to vent, be comfortable to talk to you. But if every time I talk to you, and another thing too that triggers me is the people that you go to them and you try to tell them about something and they always bring it back to themselves. Oh, well, this happened to me too. And next thing you know, the whole conversation is about them, and I'm coming to you to talk to you. So
Now
I
we're
ain't gonna
playing
talk
this
to you no
tit-for-tat
more.
game.
It's playing this tit for tat. Who
it's just
got the most trauma? Like he's like, who got the most triggers? Like it's like nobody wants to do that. No one wants to do that. But okay, guys, before we go, you know, y'all know I like to leave a message at the end of the day, and I want to make a toast. We're gonna toast with water because it's daytime. Cheers with your Niagara water. We're gonna send a toast to, you know, our younger selves and some of the viewers out there. I like to leave messages about, you know, some advice that I have for my life and their life. So like, I want to know if you had to send a toast to your younger selves or the viewers, what would you say about moving forward in your traumas and finding that mate that you're looking for?
I would say to my younger self that it will get better. Don't be afraid to take accountability and do the work, and make sure that you're ready for the person when they come into your life.
Open up your throat chakra and say what the fuck you need to say. Because I let way too much slide and I'm going to still get my lick back, bitch. That's what I got to say.
I would say that you can be open. Like being open is okay. You know what I mean? You can work through things, but if you're open, that means you're going to be open to everything. You're going to be open to solutions. You're going to be open to love. You're going to be open to whatever comes your way. And I feel like if you stay open, no matter the hurt or the pain, you will get everything you're supposed to receive.
But sometimes you need to get your lip back. You're tired of being the bigger person.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay to be petty
I'm tired
sometimes.
of always being the bigger person.
Well, that's being open. That's the part allowing to be open.
Baby, I will be petty LaBelle sometimes.
And I'm tired.
I'm tired. She tired, y'all. She tired.
Petty Pendergrass.
Petty.
That.
Not petty.
Petty white.
Bitch, the clip
Petty
is
white.
full and I'm about to empty that bitch.
Like that. Okay, y'all.
Because they ain't hearing none of that. You can say all that. You can talk about all that. It's
Listen,
in one ear out the other.
there's times and places, baby. And you will get the smoke sometimes. I was getting kumbaya today, but don't get it twisted.
Right.
I'm tired.
Okay. Okay, guys.
Listen now, I still got my other side. They still there. They still there.
Okay, guys, that's our show. Please join us every week on That's It, That's All, where we try to keep it as real as possible. And, you know, if you feel like you relate to any of these topics that we're talking about, please tag us, please like, please share, follow our Instagram, all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, whatever we got, follow it on That's It, That's All. Also, you can sign up for our website at www.that'sitthat'sall. And if you want to be a part of the early VIP list for when anything happens and keep abreast of all the events, all the things, new merch items, whatever you want to know, you can find us there. Again, my name is Casey Carnage, and that's it. That's all.
That's all. Period.
Period, poop. Daz It Daz All is written by me, Casey Carnage, and produced by myself and Rick Barrio Dill. Executive producer is Duff Ferguson. Our senior producer is Sabrina Siewert. Associate producer, Bri Coorey. Audio and video engineering and studio facilities provided by S.L.A.P Studios LA, with distribution through our collective for social progress and cultural expression, S.L.A.P the network. If you have any ideas for a show you want to hear or see, please email us at info@slapthepower.com. And as always, go to dazitdazall.com and sign up there to make sure you will never miss a thing. See you next show.